In today's world, we are surrounded by endless requests. Help your co-workers, make time for your friends, complete extra tasks. Sometimes it seems that saying yes is a prerequisite for success and approval. But have you ever wondered at what cost it comes at? Saying no is protecting your time, energy, and goals. It is not an act of selfishness, but an act of self-care. The Stoics argued that true freedom lies in not going along with other people's desires. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be the master of your life, or you will become a slave to circumstances." In this video, we will talk about why it is important to learn to say no, how it relates to personal growth, and what the Stoics have to say on this topic. You will learn how to apply their wisdom to your life to gain inner strength and control. 1. The power of awareness. Why we say yes. Many of us agree to do things we don't want to do to avoid conflict or disappointing others. But the Stoics taught us to pay attention to our true motives. They argued that saying yes in spite of oneself is a concession to weakness. Epictetus said, "Your actions should be your choice, not the result of external pressure." This principle helps us realize why we often agree and find the power to change it. Practical tip. The next time you are asked to do something, ask yourself, is this really important to me, or am I doing this to avoid discomfort? Answer honestly and make a decision. Real-life example. Marina had always taken on unnecessary projects at work for fear of disappointing her boss. After realizing that her motivation was based on fear, she began to evaluate each request through the lens of her long-term goals. This helped her save time for important tasks and improve her emotional well-being. 2. The art of boundaries. How the Stoics defended their time. The Stoics valued time as their most valuable resource. Seneca wrote, "Much of life is spent trying to please others. Knowing how to set boundaries and say no is the key to maintaining your freedom and achieving your goals." Practical tip. Create a list of your priorities. If something doesn't fit on it, learn to say no without feeling guilty. Realize that every minute spent on someone else's tasks takes away from your ability to move toward your dreams. Real-life example. Ivan spent his evenings endlessly asking his friends for help with repairs, forgetting about his dream of writing a book. Gradually, he began to refuse, explaining that he was working on an important project. A year later, he published his first book and felt that he was living a more meaningful life. 3. The wisdom of saying no. How to say no the right way. Saying no is an art that requires tact and confidence. The Stoics taught to tell the truth with respect. Epictetus advised, "Be honest, but remain benevolent." Practical advice. Learn to phrase your refusal in a way that makes it sound firm but respectful. Example. "I would love to help, but I have other priorities right now." This shows your confidence and respect for the other person. Real-life example. Ludmila was volunteering in several projects, but it was draining her energy. She began to gently decline, explaining that she wanted to focus on one area. This gave her more satisfaction and allowed her to achieve real results. 4. Transforming weaknesses into strengths. No as an act of self-care. The Stoics argued that saying no is not weakness, but strength. It means recognizing one's limitations and being able to choose where to put one's resources. Practical tip. Make a list of things you often do, out of politeness, that don't bring you joy or benefit. Gradually begin to give them up, replacing them with activities that are in line with your goals. Real-life example. Sergey spent a lot of time on social media, answering requests from acquaintances. He realized that this was interfering with his career and decided to allocate only 30 minutes a day to such activities. This helped him improve his productivity and free up time to learn new skills. 5. Long-term effect. No as a path to personal growth. Each rejection strengthens your inner freedom. You are no longer a slave to other people's expectations, but the master of your own life. The Stoics argued that the power of the individual is shown in his or her ability to choose his or her own path. Practical advice. Keep a refusal diary. Write down the situations in which you have said no, and observe how it has affected your life. This will help you realize the value of this skill. A real example. Olga began to analyze what changed after each refusal. She noticed that she started to feel more confident and achieved her goals faster than before. Final. To say no is to say yes to yourself. Saying no is not an act of aggression, but an act of self-love. This skill gives you the freedom to choose what is really important and to protect your values. The Stoics teach us that life is too short to waste it on other people's expectations. Every time you say no, you are saying yes to your time, your dreams, your power. Start small and you will be surprised how much freer and happier your life will become. Remember, you have the right to choose your path.